Well, hello everyone, welcome back to another video of the F1 2020 driver career with Alfa Romeo, episode number 84 today for the Canadian Grand Prix season 6, round number 5. If you have of course missed the previous episode of Azerbaijan, then I recommend go and check that out. Link to the playlist for this series is in the description below, and of course subscribe if you are new to the channel. See plenty more episodes of the driver crew mode on both F1 2020 and F1 2021. R&D wise, there's not a lot we can do. We are going to purchase this ultimate weight redistribution upgrade, so that's going to come in sometime in the gap between Canada and Britain for Monday's episode. Hopefully then both of those upgrades are going to sort of elevate the car's performance well up into the midfield. We might even be, well, we'll see where we are after those two upgrades. But looking at the weather forecast, there's some rain on the way for the race, so it could be a wet ending. And it's not just the one singular column, there is more than just one column there of rain, so that's going to be most likely be some point intermediates. We'll see how we can fill about with the strategy in the race. In terms of the R&D, because of the short between Azerbaijan and Canada, only McLaren have actually bought any upgrades, so Williams, a slight one for Williams, a bigger one for McLaren to try and elevate them away from Racing Point, who are now the third worst team on the grid, and towards the likes of Renault, Red Bull, Mercedes and that upper end of the midfield, and then obviously Ferrari with the fastest car overall still. But yes, moving to qualifying then, we'll see what we can do. Obviously probably be brought right back down to earth, and the fact of the matter is our first run was only good enough for P17. So a lot of work to be done. We're a tenth and a bit up on our previous best laps, but we need more than that if we're going to get the real good positions like P11, P12, which is really where we're aiming for. See if we can roll the dice with the alternative strategy. But a tenth and a half up on our previous best lap. Now coming down the pit straight, we're trying to get a 12th. Mercedes who's going to finish his lap. And McLaren behind us. It's only 2/10 improvement. Pull to the line doesn't really affect you, unfortunately, in game, and it was only good enough for P16. Oh dear. Well, Russell out qualifies, as that's where the car really should be. Bottas a terrible qualifying for him as well, with a checkerboard of AlphaTauris and Ferraris as it was at Azerbaijan. But from P16, well, this is going to be interesting. See if we can get any points. Time for the race.
Hello and welcome to the Ile Notre Dame once again for what promises to be another incredible Canadian Grand Prix at a fiercely competitive circuit, where pole position can often be decided by less than a tenth of a second. We'll be seeing top speeds of around 210 miles an hour here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, with around 2/3 of the lap taken at full throttle. High-speed chicanes spell potential danger, especially at the infamous Wall of Champions. And watch out for overtaking into the hairpin and the final chicane. And with me as usual is Anthony Davidson. Now then, let's take a look at Nick de Vries. Looks like they've got a tough race in store today, as grid penalties from changing power unit components has forced them further down the field.
But on the bright side, at least those fresh components can help them maintain the power they need to come through the pack. I expect to see them take a more aggressive approach today to make up for the compromised start.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position with Pierre Gasly alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Magnussen, Carlos Sainz and Albon, Verstappen, Bottas, Norris and Antonio Giovinazzi, Ocon, Latifi, George Russell and Stroll, Giotto and an Alfa Romeo, and Guan Yu Zhou and Daniel Kvyat, Matsushita and Nick de Vries. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out. Then let's see who can prevail today.
After the points finish last race, let's aim to keep the momentum going.
We're starting in P16, Jeff. 16th. It is going to be a tough one, I think. But anyway, we're going to start on the mediums. We're gonna gamble. We're going to go start on the mediums, and we're going to hopefully it will rain enough that it will be time for intermediates. That's the gamble. We'll have to wait and see if it pays off. Right, for lights are out, and away we go. And it's a good start actually. Better than Giotto, and so drive down the inside of a load of cars. Had to take a little bit of curbing to give the AI some room on the inside, trying to go around the outside of Norris. Now he's going to cut us off down to turn 4, and already ahead of both Renaults, exactly where we want to be, up into P10. It's a very good start off the line, 6 places, but now Ocon did have a go at it. He's also on the medium tyres. Is he rolling the dice with us? I'm surprised if you more haven't decided to roll the dice. Who's trying to go around the outside of Norris. He's had a poor we've had a little bit of a poor exit, but we're going to get him back here. Look how poor Norris is off that line. McLaren may have brought upgrades, but it's nothing, and he's got nothing to answer us with in the straight line, and we've gone through and up into P9. So a bit of work to be done there. As take a look at how there's Magnussen starting to hold up Sainz for 4th place, but the top 3 are sort of sprecking away while Leclerc is a little bit out of difference. Of Gasly and Vettel are fighting for P2. As we're also looking at Bottas and Albon. Bottas and Verstappen. Verstappen forces Bottas out, and he was able to keep P7. As we jump a few laps later now, Leclerc is coming in to make his one and only stop. Well, should 1 or 2 maybe if it starts to rain. He's come out behind Ocon, who's behind me. So jumping to lap 11 now, you can see it is getting overcast. The rain is on its way, and Leclerc is past Ocon. He has a look at us as well, a little bit dive, but we're going to just keep our foot in and make sure that we keep Leclerc behind us. If we want, we could win the race if this works to our favour. If it rains, and you can see there, it is starting to rain on screen, on camera. You can see the dots of splashes of rain, so it is starting to rain. And jumping to lap 13, Jeff calls us in. Now I don't know if this is just Jeff rolling the dice himself, thinking it's time for a pit stop, or whether it's just Jeff actually being great. Anyway, I think it's time. It might be just time as well, so we're just going to comply anyway and come in. We need to make a pit stop anyway. Might be a little tad early, or no, it's not. It's going to be perfect timing. DRS disabled just then. Norris is in as well. I think Ocon is in, even though he pitted to hard tyres. I mean, don't ask me why. Giovinazzi come through. We're coming out in P10, a little bit of understeer, excuse me, but it is definitely time for inters. And now we've got Giovinazzi on the exit of the straight line, the back straight, and Giovinazzi has no answer on those medium tyres. It's definitely time for inters as it's getting wetter and wetter out here. Into the pits then come the Red Bulls, Mercedes. They're double stacking. That red dot is Charles Leclerc. Vettel and Magnussen have stayed out. Will we come out ahead of Leclerc and retain what will be effectively the race lead? Leclerc is on the outside, but we get the better traction out of turn 2. Thank you very much. And that should be a race victory for Alfa Romeo, especially the fact that Sebastian Vettel is now out of the race with an engine failure, so Leclerc is going to get big points over him in the championship. But you can see there, Magnussen in, we retake the lead of the Canadian Grand Prix. I didn't think we were going to be on the top step, never mind the podium, and we got the podium last time out. And now, well, Leclerc had no answer to us really, wasn't able to get close enough, not really with the DRS disabled, and in the end we come across the line for, let's say, an unprecedented and very gambled. We gambled today, and we gambled with victory, and we got it. Whew. I did not believe that we would be able to. I thought the strategy was good, but not that good.
They take the checkered flag then here in Canada in what has been another fabulous Grand Prix. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
Well, Crofty, this was won through an abundance of speed and an abundance of skillful overtakes. Inside, outside, cutting underneath, we saw it all today. And it's really nice to see a Grand Prix won in that manner. A race, surely, that will satisfy the purists today, I think.
So here they come now, out onto the podium. It's thrilling to see this team go toe-to-toe with the best teams in the sport and come out on top. What a superb victory from the Alfa Romeo team.
It was definitely my brilliant strategy there that got us victory. But yes, I did not think we would be tasting champagne again, considering the fact that Ferrari is so overpowered in this series. But, I mean, 0.3 of a second as well as we crossed the line to Leclerc. Gasly 1.7 back. We were holding on a little bit, especially on those medium tyres. Leclerc gave it everything, and in the end he couldn't get past us, and the one stop was the way to go from mediums to inters, with everybody else making a second stop. But it is very nice to be back on the top. What could be the last time in this series. I don't think we might not get another victory. I mean, in this series, I mean, that could be enough. That could be it. In terms of the Drivers' Championship, though, it elevates us up to P5. I mean, this is very dizzying heights for us, especially in the last two races. We got very, very lucky with the strategy here today, and then also the safety car at Azerbaijan to get second place and victory for the team. And of course that victory, because Renault really didn't score that well, that's going to put us a little bit of daylight between ourselves and Renault as well in the constructors.
Let's have your thoughts. How are you feeling after that win?
I'm elated. The team R2, I'm sure they would be, Alfa Romeo in real life would be over the moon if they won a Grand Prix.
You left some bodywork out there on the track. Were you struggling for grip?
Now Claire, it's been 6 seasons. You know the answer to this.
Well, thanks anyway.
Cannot be serious!
I think John McEnroe just sums that up, really. I mean, she should. I want to be able to refuse to answer any of her questions, just to give her, just to say no. You've been rude to me. I'm not answering your questions anymore, Claire. But anyway, enough about Claire. We haven't quite got enough R&D points to start these aero upgrades, so I don't know if we're going to go. I think we're going to go for the front downforce first, because that's a little bit like the flap, as opposed to the diffuser on that side. The DRS upgrade I'm not too worried about, because it's just DRS. Just widens the flap, really gives it a little bit more space. I mean, we might put it on, but it's not a priority. Brakes, I might have a look at that. Depends how far up the those two ultimate upgrades got us. I don't think we're going to be looking at ERS or engine power or fuel efficiency, because we don't really need it in either the 25% race or 50% race. We might do one major ERS upgrade just to make sure that we've got enough for Brazil, because I'm still on as it stands for that 100% race. But we're halfway through this final season then. I don't think we can maintain 5th place. I do think that Red Bull eventually will come back in the R&D chart. Magnussen has been very average, 7th place so far. So I'm sure he can. We know he is a race winner in this series. I'm sure he can improve. Bottas has just been dreadful in this series compared to the results that Sainz has been bringing out as well for that team. 2 third places, which is probably the best of the rest, really, when the Ferraris don't have problems. But yes, Leclerc hasn't won in 2 races. I'm sure he'll come back at Silverstone, a bogey track for me, so it'll probably be no points for us. So we brought back down to earth, really, for the next Grand Prix. But if you have enjoyed then this Canadian Grand Prix, then leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more episodes. The drive crew mode. Until the next video, I'll see you next time. Take care. Thanks so much for watching. Enjoy your day, and goodbye.